Hey everybody, and welcome back to Shell Bell Reads. Today I'm going to talk about the books that I want to read by the end of the year. This past Christmas, my fiance gave me 16 books for my wish list. To date, I've read 7 of them, and I'm currently reading the 8th one. So I've decided to challenge myself by finishing the last 8 by the end of the year. Let's see what I have left to read. First up is Warcross by Marie Lu. I read her Legend series and really liked it, so I'm excited to see what this duology will be about. Here's the setup. Hacker Amika Chen works as a bounty hunter, tracking down Warcross players who bet on the game illegally. To earn some quick cash, Amika hacks into the game, only to accidentally glitch herself into the action and become an overnight sensation. When Amika gets a call from the game's creator, the young billionaire Hideo Tanaka, he makes her an offer she can't refuse, and suddenly Amika's whisked off to Tokyo into a world of fame and fortune. But the more time she spends with Hideo, the sooner the lines begin to blur between business and something more, pulling her deep into a sinister plot with major consequences for the entire Warcross empire. Okay, so this looks awesome, so I cannot wait to read that. Next is Winter's Mourn by Mary Stone. This is book 1 of the Winter Black series. I've never read anything by Mary Stone before, and I hadn't really heard of her until I started hearing about her through Book Talk and wanted to give her a try. Based on what I've heard, I won't be disappointed. Let's see what you all think. A Killer is Watching. 13 years ago, Winter Black came home early from a sleepover to find her parents brutally murdered and a little brother gone, taken by a serial killer called the Preacher. Now a rookie FBI agent assigned to her first murder case, Winter has returned to the small Virginia town where she grew up. But when bones found by a hunter lead to the discovery of a secret burial ground containing the remains of children, the investigation suddenly hits close to home as the past and future collide with each new shocking discovery. Will they find her brother's bones in the makeshift graveyard next? Only the Preacher knows, and he'll do anything to keep the past and its secrets buried until he's ready to make his final move. So I definitely want to get into that. The Bookshop on the Shore by Jenny Colgan. I loved The Bookshop on the Corner, which I did through Audible. So I'm excited to try this one out. So desperate to escape London, single mother Zoe wants to build a new life for herself and her 4-year-old son Harry. She can barely afford the crammed studio apartment on a busy street where shouting football fans keep them awake all night. And Harry's dad, Jazz, a charismatic but perpetually broke DJ, is no help at all. But his sister, Surinder, comes to Zoe's aid, hooking her up with a job as far away from the urban crush as possible, working at a bookshop on the banks of the Loch Ness. And there's a second job to cover housing. Zoe will be an au pair for 3 children at a genuine castle in the Scottish Highlands. So, and I think it even brings in the character from The Bookshop on the Corner. So I think this will be very enjoyable. Next is The 12 Days of Dash and Lily by Rachel Cohen and David Levithan. I loved the first book, Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, so much. I'm going to make this the last book I read in December because, as you can see, it's more like a holiday themed one. So here is what it is about. There was no room in my toy soldier heart for Lily, but she forced herself in anyway, and she brought Christmas with her. Dash and Lily have had a tough year since they first fell in love among the shelves of their favorite bookstore. Lily's beloved grandfather suffered a heart attack, and his difficult road to recovery has taken a major toll on her typically sunny disposition. With only 12 days left until Christmas, Lily's favorite time of year, Dash, Lily's brother Langston, and their closest friends must take Manhattan by storm to help Lily recapture the unique holiday magic of a glittering, snow-covered New York City in December. So I have a feeling it's going to be a quick read, and I'm going to love it. Next is OtherEarth by Jason Segel and Kirsten Miller. This is the sequel to Otherworld, which I read a couple of years ago and surprisingly really liked. So, welcome back to our reality. Simon was willing to do anything to save his best friend after a mysterious accident almost killed her, including follow her into a virtual world. And what he and Kat discovered there, in Otherworld, was more terrifying than they could have ever imagined. Unwitting hospital patients are being forced to test a device that lets VR be experienced with all 5 senses. The technology is so advanced that it's deadly. Now the world's biggest tech corporation, the company, is hunting Simon and Kat while war rages in the virtual world it created. Determined to destroy the company, Simon and Kat must join forces with a hacker, a gangster, and a digital entity. But as they battle to save 2 worlds, they uncover an all-new threat to ours, the company's latest creation, an augmented reality game called OtherEarth. Not only does OtherEarth kill, it has the power to erase the line between what's real and what's fantasy. Now reality is about to change forever. So that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, next up is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. So this will be my first Lisa Jewell book, but I've heard pretty good things about her stuff. No one ever just disappears. Ellie Mack was the perfect daughter, and then she was gone. 10 years after Ellie's disappearance, her mother, Laurel Mack, is trying to put her life back together when she meets an unexpectedly charming man in a cafe. Before she knows it, she's meeting Floyd's daughters, and his youngest, Poppy, takes Laurel's breath away, because the eerily precocious Poppy is a spitting image of Ellie. Okay, so definitely want to read that soon. Next, we have Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. I did read her other book, House of Salt and Sorrows, which was a reimagining, I think, of the 12 Dancing Princesses. I'm not totally familiar with the original story, but I really did like A House of Salt and Sorrow. So I am looking forward to this. I believe this is a reimagining of Rapunzel. The heart's desire always comes with a price. So it says, Ellery Downing is waiting for something to happen. Life in isolated Amity Falls, surrounded by an impenetrable forest, has predictable sameness. Her days are filled with tending to her family's beehives, chasing after her sisters, and dreaming of bigger things, while her twin, Samuel, is free to roam as he wishes. Early settlers fought off monstrous creatures in the woods, and whispers that the creatures still exist keep the Downings and their neighbors from venturing too far. When some townsfolk go missing on a trip to fetch supplies, a heavy unease settles over the falls. Okay. So, I definitely want to check this out. And finally, we have Hunting Prince Dracula by Kerri Manscalco. I did read her first book, which was Stalking Jack the Ripper, which was really good. So I'm looking forward to this one. And it says, sorry, it's a little. A man impaled by a sharp wooden stake, a young chambermaid drained of her blood. They say it's Prince Dracula arisen from the dead. It says it's the living, not the dead, we should fear the most. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting to that. So, now that you know what I have left to read until the end of the year, what do you think I should start with next? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you know when a new video drops. Happy reading!